Welcome back to another video. I'm on this big Wingbits kick right now. I know what's new. Um, y'all probably not too surprised by that, but I am in the process right now of making like 3 or 4 different videos, and I am all over the place. I got a folder started where I'm in the middle of recording one, and I think about something, and I switch everything over, and I'll start recording about something else. I did a video a couple of days ago about some advanced 2.0. I did an advanced video a while back, about 6 months ago. I did another one 2 or 3 days ago. That one got to be almost an hour and a half. I had to take half of that, or a quarter of that, put it into the video I'm making today. Welcome, I'm the Grumpy Dad, and I'm addicted to Wingbits. As you can tell by the sticker on my hat, I just picked up my WB200 from the shipper or whatever. It was just shipped to my house. I'm in the process of making that video. See the pretty lights and stuff like that. And while I'm making that video, I'm also taking some cuts and putting it into the video that I'm making currently. So I have a bunch of Wingbits content coming out right now. But what this video is going to be about is about splitting signals. I know there's not a lot of people doing that, but look, before we get started, do me a favor, please hit that like button below. It really helps out this channel. It helps spread the news of this channel out. I'm really trying to expand this. I got my Discord started, Twitter X right here, and I am trying my best to expand this YouTube channel into more markets and stuff like that. And I can't do it without y'all support. I'm at almost 30,000 subscribers right now. So please, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get started on this. Okay, so like I said, this might be all over the place because again, I recorded a lot of this, and you're gonna see, the difference in backgrounds or whatever like that. I recorded this on a couple of days back when I was making that other video. Then I took some of this when I started talking about the splitting of the signals. I'm like, this is getting into a whole different thing. I'm just going to take that out and save y'all 30 minutes of y'all life so that video wasn't an hour and a half instead of only an hour. So what we're talking about with splitting signals is we have some hosts that are insisting on doing like a free to ADSB, free to the public type of signal. I don't know. I don't really know how you want to describe. Basically, because of their setup, they want this type of traffic to be available to people for free, in case it's ever questioned. I want to hit on is I've had several people over the last, say, year or so who were already running a FlightAware project or ADSB radar exchange or whatever these other ones are, where you're uploading to these free sites because it's the app, it's, a hobby or thing like that. And, people can see for free where the flights are. They got the fancy websites and stuff like that. First of all, that is the competition for Wingbits, just so I can say I say that and everybody knows that. But I have, for one of the buildings, I know some of y'all have heard this story before. I apologize for making this longer than what it needs to be, but he is insisting because of the building and some of the tenants he has in it, just so he doesn't cause any issues, which I don't understand because he manages the building and part owns it or whatever. But anyway, when a host allows you to put, I've said this before, especially like at my Grand Isle station, my buddy's fishing camp ain't the most ideal setup. But when I know the potential of that site, because when I had it temporarily at his old location, and it was one of my best stations, and it was only 10 feet off the ground, you tend to just have to go along with what he's offering you. And some of these hosts on some of these buildings, sometimes they have some kind of demands, and even though you don't want to, I love these people in Discord like, well, if they want to sign, whatever. Well, this guy doesn't want anything. He's not even into crypto. He's just a friend of mine who says, yeah, you can put a Wingbit station up there, but since it's for profit for you from crypto, I also want you to put, I don't care which one it is, just something that the public can use for free. So they can go on these websites like FlightAware or these apps, and I can say that it's contributing to that. Now, again, I love the Wingbits guys. It's my most positive project that's out there. But when he's insisting on that, I'm not gonna sit there and try to talk him out of it, because right now, Wingbits does not have the setup for the public to use like a FlightAware does, where you can download the app or whatever like that. So, and I also didn't want to have to go put 2 antennas up for that. So what did I try to do? This is one of those do as I say, not as I do type of things, because people have asked me before about it. So what I ended up using, again, do as I say, not as I do, is I ended up using this splitter, and I'm not proud of it. And the results were pretty much as I expected. It has brought down my wings somewhat, because there, kind of this RF signal thing is kind of a power, almost to a point. It's powered, whatever you want to call it, electronic, and you're splitting that receive signal, and which is making it weaker. So to get an exact number, I then duplicated this at my site, or my friend's 400-foot site, but at my site closer to me, to see. I wanted to see how bad. Because what happens is I set this up in Grand Isle, and because I set this up at my friend's office, and then I just didn't really pay attention to it. I didn't think it was going to hurt as bad as it did. So I'm like, am I hurting myself that bad? So what I did is I went and duplicated this at the 400-foot tower site, just because that's a site that is doing very well. Plus, it was a chance for me to see the difference between. So it solved kind of two birds with one stone, because it also got a chance for me to compare that AirSpy Mini with the good setup to this, and let's take a look and see what that looks like. So I let this run for about 3 or 4 days. That's why you saw the drop in wings. So my first thing I went and said was, holy hell, I'm killing myself in wings. This test is not going to end. I mean, it's not going to take long. But I let it run for 2 or 3 days. And I want y'all to also notice the mileage that I'm getting out of some of this, some of these ranges. And you look at that jagged blue line, and it is almost identical. So you can see how I am getting a very decently increased mileage with both of these setups. I will tell you, this is not all the time. This is not, I'm trying to kind of blow it up for y'all, but when you look at where I'm hitting is like Gainesville, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm in South Louisiana, Springfield, Missouri. I'm in the Kentucky with some of these. That's pretty phenomenal. Dallas. I'm hitting over the top of my Corpus Christi site. So when you want to look at the map on this, let's take a quick look at what this is. 482 miles. And, and again, while this is not consistent all the time, I'm telling you, every 3 to 4 days, I start getting readings like this. Now, we don't know what kind of atmospheric conditions were happening or anything like that. But as we swing this around, Memphis is 350 miles. But we also hit Springfield at one point, 500 miles. We also hit right below Bowling Green, Kentucky, 510 miles. We were above Dallas, 420 miles. We hit, if you remember, over Corpus Christi, 450 miles. So I'm pretty proud of the fact that what these are doing, even with that signal split. But if we look closely at the numbers, you are getting a slight increase with the AirSpy Mini with the cavity filter. So you can see that I've got 192 versus the black one, which is 189. But look at the message difference. The message difference, again, this is about side by side as you can get. You're getting 200 almost exactly more with this setup. And again, so we're using this purple one that everybody talked about and said that this is what they would use versus the other one. But splitting this signal was detrimental, if that's the word you want to use. So Saturday normally has less flights. So you're looking at what I was getting throughout the week with this test, and 250, 240, 245, 250, 268, and boom, 303 when I took this off yesterday. Now this is even the full day. I said I had enough of this. It was Friday. Saturday yesterday, and I decided that this experiment was over with, and this was only a couple of hours worth. So I'm very interested to see what my results are going to be when this updates later. So for the people that want to know is, can you split this to run a second program? Yes. Should you? No. Now, some people have discussed about ways of taking one SDR with one antenna and somehow trying to split that into two programs on the same Pi or something like that. I'm not getting involved in that. I don't know exactly the success rate or anything like that, but I'm not doing that. The one thing I'm going to look at doing for the station that my friend's insisting on having a flight aware at is I'm planning on either building a box, or I even saw where somebody took an old helium, the metal helium box, and flipped it over to put the holes up to put multiple antennas. And I might just run two different antennas. Right now that station's inside with one feed line that goes way up, and at the bottom it's splitting with that Y, and with 2Ds or whatever it is. But my plan is to try to put a box together. Y'all saw me with videos with boxes, and put two antennas on there, so that therefore that Wingbits station that's being split right now should be one of my top stations, and it's not no more since I did this splitting, and now I see why. So just a little extra for y'all. I wanted to go over that. I know this video is long, I'm sorry, but for people who think about splitting that antenna feed, don't do it. Try to figure out something else. And it goes to show you what happens with that signal antenna with that feed line. It's the same thing as if you use too thin of a feed line. So that wraps about that up. As you can see, I took that from that other video I was making. Y'all can understand where some of that came from. But I feel like y'all know I'm very dedicated to this project, even though I'm not employed or anything like that about it. But I feel like I just admitted to cheating on my wife on YouTube. That's how bad I feel that I have to discuss this. But I'm telling you, I have had several people ask me about also wanting to provide, and I explained to them, do you realize Wingbits technically is competition to these other providers? And they understand, but they still want to know about it. So this was a way of me, kind of covering that, splitting the antenna and stuff like that. Yes, it can be done. Do you want to? That's on you. But I'm sure there's different ways of skinning that cat, as people can say. This is how I'm doing it. I have, basically two of these in a box. I wanted them completely separate. So I have these side by side. One of these will be running Wingbits. The other one will be running FlightAware. The FlightAware one has the black SDR with the little cheap LNA that I showed y'all from Alley. The Wingbits one has the better SDR, which I thought was better until I started doing these tests, but I'm not gonna go over all that. We're trying to wrap this video up, and they combine into one antenna. As of right now, my plan is to I have to go back down there again to this location to work on some internet stuff. So my plan is to run a second antenna to get. I don't have a choice. I'm killing myself too bad by splitting the signal, and is detrimental to my rewards. I'm gonna have to just bite the bullet and run a second antenna up and get it out there. I don't have a choice. But I hope everybody enjoyed this video. It's a little different for y'all. Understand that. Again, please make sure y'all join this Discord. I'm pushing it hard, trying to get some information out to everybody. And hopefully Wingbits will be on mainnet soon. We're gonna keep pushing our WB200s and trying to get more people involved. And I like to say this disclaimer every single time when I do it. Maybe I need to make a little flashing placard for every Wingbits video. If you're interested in Wingbits and you found this video because you are interested in Wingbits, please go check the map first before you get into this project. If there's a lot of stations within 25 to 50 miles of you, maybe even 100 miles of you, this might not be the best stage. This might not be the best project for you. Click on those things, see what the rewards are, but there's only so many stations they need for coverage. Or try to find something that relative's house that is more wide open, and then that'll benefit you also with more wings. So that's it for now. Got plenty more videos I'm working on. Don't forget Thursday nights is our live, and we discuss a lot of this stuff also on Thursday nights. So Thursday nights 7 p.m. Central Time here on YouTube. Thank you all for watching. See you on the next video.